Come in.
What's up?
Hey, look who's here.
You doing?
Amyn, bro.
Sagwa,
Sagwa, what's going on, bro? Yeah.
Thank you.
Jeez,
How's
welcome,
it going? Are
guys.
we interrupting anything?
Well, nothing important,
just
man.
Some work, just some typing.
Just some typing, just some work. Some of us are not on strike. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
Independence.
Had to be done.
Exactly. And so, you just
Yeah.
flew in from California, from
Yeah.
San Francisco, right?
Went from the Bay Area a
Right.
few days ago for a little business trip here to Nairobi.
Nice.
Been 10 years since I was last here. So
No way.
yes.
What took you so long to come back?
Oh, life. You
Yeah.
know? Kids, money, work.
Hey, the
you know,
mortgage.
mortgage.
Yeah,
Permission slip from.
Jesus Christ.
Had to find the right time. So now it's happening. It's really cool to be back.
I got you, man.
It's a fun place to come. It's inspiring.
Awesome. Yeah, what about you, Sagwa? What are you up to, brother?
Been preparing film production work.
Yeah.
Doing some documentaries, features, animation.
Nice.
And this was a good chance to connect with Amyn because we've been having some stuff in the works, and now is the time we say let's get it together.
Excellent. So I know, you're a writer, director, right? Do you produce as well, or you don't really wear that hat?
Not so much.
All right, cool.
Not so much.
Writer, director, Sagwa,
Yeah.
producer, writer, director,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So, I think you guys form a great team. So right now, are you in a partnership together, or what's going on? You guys are
Yes,
working on a project together.
So I came out here 10 years ago to research a script I was writing about the street kids of Nairobi,
Nice.
and decided I needed to be here to really do that properly and interview kids and get a full picture of the whole scene. And then while I was here, I was introduced to Sagwa through a mutual friend, and had a good chat with him then. Didn't think much about it for about, 5-6 years. And then reconnected over something else. And I was like, hey, I'm still trying to make that movie I talked to you about when we had coffee. And he's like, interesting. I think we could do something together. So we, over time, kind of formed a partnership based out here so that we could kind of have like a presence on the ground here, because it's too hard from far away.
Absolutely.
For me to just,
Right.
figure this out on my own. And Sagwa knows a lot of people
Right.
and has really good insights about Nairobi. So we partnered up, and we're just, kept talking all the time. And then COVID happened, and all of that slowed us down a little bit. But basically, finally, it was like, let's figure out a trip. And we were talking to different organizations, sponsors, trying to see who could maybe like make this a thing. Fly me out, have some talks and presentations stuff, and then that was taking a while. So we were like, you know what, I'm just gonna come.
And
So
here you are.
Just take charge of, not wait for anybody else.
I guess take the bull by the horn, so to speak.
Exactly.
And then here you are. How long you been in Nairobi now? When did you get here?
Today is it's been a week.
It's been a week, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
So it's been a lot of fun.
Nice.
A lot of cool conversations with people.
Great.
Interesting, learning a lot, and finding, getting a good taste of like the creative community here and what people are doing, what they're trying to do, the challenges of it all.
Yeah.
And it's been great.
Right. So, guys, speaking of challenges, Sagwa, and it's been here a week, and the last time it was here was 10 years ago. You're here on the ground, and you know what some of the challenges are. And in your opinion, what do you think? What are the pain points for you and now trying to get these projects off the ground? What are the main pain points?
Definitely, I could go on about that. The thing is co-productions. Once we're talking about Kenya, US, basically we're looking at two sets of skills coming together, and there's definitely talent pool over here. But what we wanted to do is realize the film script and really get finance from out together with whatever funds we could get here. And the thing about that is most international financiers want to get a rebate. They want to get like some incentive. So that's been a big challenge, which can't be taken on by myself. It really needs government support.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things we were looking into, and I just have to say it's actually going well, because the local filmmakers, the stakeholders, we've been working for so long with the government, giving inputs, what we would like, what the best way to make film co-productions work. And the government's been receptive, and essentially we hope this year we'll be able to get those rebates that would trigger in finance into productions to come here. So that's one aspect.
Kudos, kudos, yes.
The other is just essentially getting very highly skilled certain departments. We definitely have good DPs, directors, producers over here, but there's certain things in terms of the script which we needed to get tied in. So that's where we're actually looking to actually train people in certain aspects. We'll speak more about that through when it comes close.
Yeah, excellent. And then of course I'm sure post-production as well is
that's one.
Is another issue, right?
Yes, actually that's more in it. Like our post skills, you'll find for the most part productions do their post outside, whether they're advertising agencies or film companies that come
They go
in.
to South Africa,
or
UK.
India or UK.
Yeah.
So that's a gap, and we're looking to fill those through the partnerships that we have, so that skilled cinematographers could do their work, and everything could happen within here.
That's a great initiative because again, a lot of the so-called, I don't really like to use those terms, so-called first world nations or developed nations, whatever, is the fact that capacity building is always at the forefront of transfer of knowledge.
Yes.
For instance, if Amyn brings a crew of 50 from San Francisco to come shoot a movie here, there should be an incentive to hire people here on the ground, so you could, in all departments, whether it's the writers department, the camera department, you know what I mean, the post production. If you choose to do the post production here, for instance, a lot of also countries offer extra incentives on top of the original incentive that you get if you choose to hire to do your post.
Yes.
And within country, you get an extra, percentage of incentive as well, which is great because now there's also a transfer of knowledge where the local pool of talent will actually grow as well, and that's how you grow an industry. I think it's a great initiative that you guys took that upon yourselves. And, I saw the gap in the market as well. You know what I mean? A while ago, but then there's been a lot of talks about it. If that could be implemented in the intermediary, that'll be a great boost for the creative sector, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would, and I feel like we're turning the corner. I think my first couple of days here, a lot of the conversations were like, what is holding us back? How do we get the full capacity, get full support and everything?
Right.
I think it's a really good point about the training. I mean, if you look at Canada, they do the same. They require a certain number of actors. If I'm directing and I cast one actor, the rest have to be Canadian pretty much.
Yeah.
So, and then you look at, I'm sure 20, 25 years ago, they didn't have the people on the crew, the acting pool. They didn't have any of that in Vancouver. Now it's like 40, 50 shows are shooting there at any one time.
There you go.
I mean, it's like they can handle it. They've got stages everywhere.
Because now
you run out of stages.
You grow the sector will grow, and everybody benefits.
Exactly, everybody benefits. And so, but they protect their own. They're looking out for their own people. It's not just, you don't just helicopter in, do your thing, and helicopter out. You gotta have, they gotta have skin in the game too. So it's smart.
Which is what
smart.
we're doing.
That's what we're trying to do. And so now
I think that's amazing.
We're looking to raise about $5 million for 2 films. We also have another plan that's a bigger plan, but the more immediate plan. And so if we got an incentive that covered some fraction of that, that gets us much closer.
Absolutely, yeah.
And everywhere I film, I do network television. Almost every show I do is done in a place that has incentives.
Go.
You're not doing it full price.
Right. Hey, why would you go full price when you can do it?
They're stretching, and we're talking millions of dollars.
Exactly.
So if you're doing a $4 million episode and you're getting 25%,
that's right.
That's a lot of money.
Oh, definitely. And then production can be very expensive. God forbid there's a delay. Your production cycle just exponentially goes through the roof.
Yeah.
Right. So that's great. So any projects that we can talk about? Anything that's in the plans right now?
2 are ready right now. Sticky, which I love. That's the story that you was talking about, where we basically broke down the budget, broke down the script,
Right.
have it all ready and set. That's a dynamic story. I'd like him to talk more about that because it's
Alright.
personal to him. But I love that story and it's very relevant. And why I want to speak on that is that we have a push where we have ideas, storytellers
Right.
on so-called, basically the whole idea about tell the story, who's going to tell the story. So my thing with that, especially wanting international audiences, my perception is an outsider could come in, get an impact, get an insight. I could be an outsider in another place, get my impact, get my story. So what we're doing is giving perspectives. That's what we're calling it. Like when someone takes a shot, looks at the ordinary day Kenyan activities. You and I know you've been here long enough. We can see someone maybe pulling a handcart, doing 5 people on a bike. To us, it gets normalized.
Yeah.
But someone else comes and like, whoa, that's a story
What's
right
going
there.
on?
Yeah.
Right.
And you can't deny them the chance to tell that story because there's that impact which they feel about how they see that. So that's kind of where we are with Sticky, where the impact of the story that he'll talk about came to him while in America, listening to National Public Radio.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why we're like, okay, it's very important that he tells that story as he perceives it, but with our actors, our cast, our talent,
Right.
and then a few of the certain people to come through.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, Sagwa put it really well. So yeah, it was really a story that I did not expect to hear. I mean, my roots are from East Africa. My grandfather was born in Nairobi.
Right.
My parents grew up in Dar es Salaam, so I always had a bond with this region.
Right.
I always thought I'd make a movie here one day if I could find the right movie.
And here you are.
And then I heard this story. It was about these women who sell glue to kids to sniff and they're giving themselves brain damage, but they're using that money from the glue they sell to send their own kids to school. So it struck me as such a cruel, ironic scenario. And when I went home and went to my office and started researching it, it really struck me as something that was important. That also, that I think people here probably just don't think about anymore.
Right.
In fact, they call the kids chokra, which means trash.
Right. Right.
So they're not seeing them as human beings.
Right.
And so, like Sagwa said, I was like, these are kids. These are kids with dreams. These are kids trying to survive.
Right. Full of
And
potential.
Full of
right.
potential. This is the future of your country. And if you treat them, if they're trash, then
Right.
you have no future.
That's exactly. And what do you do with trash? You discard.
throw it away.
Just throw it away.
So that was kind of that was the kicking off point for this. I wrote the script based on some research I did, watching documentaries and reading articles, and then evolved it over time after I came here and met kids who were full of dreams, who'd been through that experience, but now were in orphanages, had been rehabbed basically. And they, the most underdogs of underdogs. But
Right,
they still
right.
had dreams even after this. They're 16. They want to be a engineer, a pilot,
Right, the pilot, so a
whatever.
doctor,
And
whatnot.
doctor, maybe they won't get there,
Right.
but they haven't given up. So why
Gotcha.
should we give up on them? So
Right.
that was kind of and then it was also the impetus was like, you can do documentary, I can, but a dramatic story can thrill the world. It can affect people all over the world
For
if they see
sure.
that movie.
Right.
And then maybe they start to think about, how can I help? What can
Right.
I do? How can I, and it can be a force for change, not just a story that people watch and forget about.
Gotcha.
So that was the other kind of like motivation with this kind of, I just feel like movies can be so powerful.
Absolutely.
And-
We're looking at a Slumdog Millionaires type.
Yes, yes,
narrative
that's
and
exactly that.
City of
God,
Gods.
Tsotsi, it's another beautiful film.
Right.
But also, I know how to make films. I direct television. I know that part.
Right.
This world that I'm trying to do, I don't. I'm not from there. I can only
Right.
do my part.
Right. Right.
I'm fortunate enough to have the means to tell the story. But the story itself is going to come from these kids. It's going to come, and from the Kenyan crew that we put together
right.
to say, no. We wouldn't say that. We wouldn't do it like that. This
So
is
you
what
need
we
a
would-
level of authenticity that can only be
the
achieved
highest level
on the
of
ground.
authenticity,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
the highest level. I couldn't shoot this in. We shot some sample scenes for a workshop I was doing in LA, and we we did our best.
Mm,
We hired some good actors. We made it look like a little.
right.
It's still going to be American kids.
It's never gonna be the same.
It's never going to be the same. So, and we didn't think it would be, but it was
Right.
more of an exercise for acting and telling the story.
Right.
But, you know, I am fortunate enough to be able to tell the story, but it's the kids' story. They're the ones who are going to really own this story more than me.
So what's going to be your path? Are you going to cast professional actors, or are you just going to go into the trenches and audition? You know?
I think there'll be a mix,
Yeah.
but I think for the most part, the group of kids will be non-professional actors. We will do my plan is to do like a 1-month workshop with them, with an acting coach.
Right.
And we're going to figure out the lines that I wrote. That's fine. That's what it means. That's not, you say it your way.
Own it. Make
You
it your
say it
own.
your way, and then we'll
I
have
love
somebody.
that.
We'll have somebody writing down
Yeah.
what the words are. So it's
Right.
like,
No.
okay, that was the script,
Right.
but this is the script.
That's a great approach. And in fact, I think City of Gods, none of those kids were professional actors.
No,
And they
no.
did a phenomenal job. Oh my
I mean,
God. You've
it's
seen
actually-
it, right?
Yeah,
Sagwa?
yeah, wonderful movie.
I've worked with a lot of non-actors, especially early in my film school days, and it's
Right.
like they just bring a realness that you can't.
Yeah, there's a certain
Just-
grit, yeah.
Yeah, and they don't have the cynicism or the self-conscious
Right.
self-analysis. Did I do that right? They're just being,
Right.
and that's what you want, right? You want
Absolutely. You want authenticity.
You want
You want
authenticity,
that
so-
the realness, yeah.
Exactly. So we're, that's the plan, is to sort of do have enough time to
Right.
create this theater core of kids that are excited and know what this movie's about, what
Right.
story we're trying to tell, so that when we actually put the cameras up and we're rolling, they already know.
They already know what's
They
going
know
on.
the story backwards and forwards. They know who their character is, and they know how to do it. That's, the way they would do it
All right.
here. So that's the cool. That's
Excellent, because also
Yeah.
that you guys might in the process, you might be changing lives beyond imagination, because of course nobody goes into a venture and thinking that, well, it's a labor of love, especially when there are millions of dollars on the table.
Yeah.
There's also the input and output. So again, not all, I'm assuming you're not just gonna look forward to fill up your pockets. You want to also enrich the lives of those kids,
Thank you.
right?
Yes, and just touching on that, because that's definitely the plan. One thing that we're looking to do really is have continuous projects going on.
Right.
So that touches back to the idea of training that I mentioned earlier.
Right.
People get angsty, jittery when they hear training. They're like, okay, I know how to shoot. I know I'm a DP. I know how to edit. So what exactly are we saying? Tied to the budgets that we're talking about. Essentially, there's a level of production that Amyn has been working on and doing. What we're doing is really saying, okay, why don't we have this level of production? So yeah, you can shoot on your Canon, you can shoot on your
Sony or whatever,
VFX.
right?
But now, when you bring high-end cameras in, and the training and you get the digital stuff from that footage, 4K, and then basically when you're editing, this is now Final Cut. We're talking about DaVinci Resolve,
Right.
using Smoke, Autodesk, things like that. So essentially, we're actually training guys to a higher level. Not saying that you don't know what you're doing,
Right.
but you know what you're doing, working under these heads of departments from these shows out here. Let's bring the game up. The purpose of that is that essentially there'll be a point where people come in and they don't have to come in with someone.
Absolutely.
They can get high level talent, high level skills.
Right. So the
Don't have to
pool of
take
talent,
away.
yeah.
Very well developed. And at the same time, the actors, crew. So essentially what we're saying is the training is really upping the game of
Yeah.
existing skills.
And it's on the job. It's not in the classroom. You
Exactly.
have to learn by doing, right?
Practical, yeah.
So
It's got to be practical.
You learn so much on the set.
Absolutely.
I do too.
Where are my manners? I didn't offer you water. Would you like? Was I smart? Yes,
Super.
please.
Yeah.
And I know. I know you came in with
Yes, I'm
California
hydrated.
guy.
There you go.
Yeah.
Stay hydrated.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Yeah. So anyway, here, hydration.
Cheers.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can learn only so much in the classroom when it comes to this stuff, and I learn every day when I'm working.
Oh,
Something-
definitely.
Something challenges me, makes me have to rethink something, and I find someone else on the set has a better idea.
Yeah,
you
for
know,
sure.
Or they've done it before and they know exactly how to do it. I mean, I've done car chases,
Right.
surgical procedures. You know,
Ah,
I don't
jeez.
know how to do that stuff,
Right.
but I have amazing people who do.
Right,
But they
right.
do. They've been doing car chases for 25 years.
Exactly.
So you want to have that expertise built up.
For sure.
And it
Whether it's
takes-
whether it's your pyro guy, you know what I mean? You're
Yeah,
not gonna.
it takes
you're not gonna
10,
blow up your
20 years
fingers.
to build that.
Exactly.
You might have one or two people,
Yeah.
but it takes years to build up enough
For sure.
capacity for that.
For sure,
'Cause if you only have
definitely.
one person who does the car chase or the pyrotechnics,
Right.
and then now you've got 10 productions in town, you're gonna or stunt person.
Right. Exactly.
You're gonna be
Yeah.
waiting around for that stunt person, you know.
But also, in the same vein, capacity building. Again, there's never going to be enough of anything. You always have to have an overflow of whether it's actors, whether it's DP, whether it's pyro, whether it's stunt coordinators, whether it's you know what I mean, even composers, for scoring, post production houses. You need all these pieces. Also, filmmaking is a team sport. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? You can't do it. You can't do it all by yourself. And if you could try, but you headed towards a burnout. You could do it at a certain scale, but I do not advise.
I'm not a fan of the film by credit.
Yeah.
No, I don't think. I'm
Film
pretty
school.
sure there are 300 other people with you on that one. I understand you're the auteur.
Right.
It's your vision. But
However-
the film by, you weren't catering. You're not giving everybody their snacks.
Exactly. Well, unless it's a TikTok video, yeah.
Okay, that's allowed. That's allowed. But other than that, like, come on, film
No,
by. I
that's-
once saw there was some movie a filmmaker did. It said a film by,
By
and then it had
his name.
100 names on the screen at the same
Wow.
time. I was like, "You're my guy." Like that's
Okay.
that's cool, you know,
So he gave credit to
to everybody. But like that's how it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? Again, it's a team sport. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. Even sports that pretend to be a solo sport like golf.
Yeah.
There's a caddy.
And a coach.
There's a coach. There's a manager. Everybody's there. You know what I mean? Tennis, same thing.
Oh my God.
Everything's there. So anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
So now a couple of productions in the pipeline, right? And what about the second production you had mentioned? So you told me about the first one.
Yeah, Safari again. That's
Right.
actually by him.
By Amyn?
Friend of mine. No, a friend of mine wrote a script. So
Okay,
it's a
right.
really cool story. I can't get into too much with it because
Right.
still wants to be a little.
It's still
protective
being
of it.
developed, right?
But it's a great script. It's ready to go, and where you need to attach an African American actress
Right.
to it, of renown. You know,
Right.
someone who people
What
know.
are they, 30-something, 40-something, or the middle
Yeah, I
age?
think she's late 30s.
Okay.
And so we're gonna, but that's a really cool story. It's set out on the safari trip,
Nice.
featuring some lions and the jeep. And it's got a lot of. It's a great project for like a contained,
Okay.
lower budget,
Right.
good story, a lot of heart. So we're excited about that one, and we already know we have places where we can shoot it.
Right.
We have animal wranglers lined up. We just need the
Excellent.
actress and the money. pretty
Access
much.
to the money and a couple of willing, participating lions and lionesses and
Animal trainers.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But on that, actually, we have, again, good government support.
That's great.
In terms of the departments that would require those people to come in
Right.
terms of animal trainers, animal handlers. Basically, of course, you don't just go shoot lions.
No.
They have to be trained lions.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
prefer that.
Yeah.
I prefer
Yeah,
that.
definitely.
That's my preference.
It's just a roll camera
that.
and action.
And
You know,
do
no,
what
don't
you do,
worry.
lion.
Yeah.
So that's that. And then, of course, we have a number of other productions. I have scripts that I've written,
Right.
stuff for feature film, TV series,
Right.
long form, and basically other people who have scripts or stories that we would like to include in the slate.
Gotcha.
And of course, they have to fit the criteria, which is definitely local story or regional story, but ability to get the international audience.
Right. Something
get
that will
involved.
translate well
Yeah,
in
exactly.
the international market.
Yes, so that in terms of technical quality, creative the story
Right.
and just the
Yeah.
appeal. So that's what we're pushing, and we do have a lot of projects lined up.
More than when I got here.
Partnerships.
Just
yeah.
being here for a week, I already got 2 more.
That's awesome.
I'd have
Well,
to
you
go
should come
home.
more. You should come
I
more
gotta-
often.
I know. Well, yeah. I had to go home and figure them out.
Right,
So there's a lot going on, and we've met so many cool filmmakers here too who have great. Either they're finishing a movie, or they've written a script, or they they just need the money to. It's like there's so much here.
Yeah.
And we say like, oh, you got the capacity, you have a phone, you have a camera, you can do anything. But it's like, yes, you can, but you need like real support.
Yeah,
to get it to
definitely
that
get to
level.
that level, to a
to get-
Netflix or Hulu level, even
Whatever, theatrical, whatever it
Yeah.
is. It's just a matter of people seeing the audience for it.
Absolutely, but also there's a level of execution that there's a blueprint that's been established. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You look at a short film, in terms of narrative or even just a color grading, even how things are shot, how things are lit. There's a certain aesthetic to it. If you're not privy to that sort of workflow, and there's no way you could try to reproduce it or to recreate that sort of polish. It takes years.
It takes experience.
You got to make sucky films that suck less, suck a little bit less, and then it gets progressively better and better. And that, case in point, look at the Nigerian film industry.
Sure.
Guys, no shade, but you all used to make some crappy movies, bro.
Oh, it was shot on VHS.
Yo.
You could tell it was like a 10-year-old camcorder.
Exactly.
And just like, oh my God, what are they doing?
I know.
There's no microphones.
Oh my God! Yeah, the
You can
microphone
hear-
straight from the
You
camera.
can hear the buses go by. You can hear all the birds and everything. It's like, whoa.
It's funny, but there's something to be said about the Nigerians in terms of the guts to just tell those stories.
Yeah.
But more so that their stories were happening. That's what kept people glued. Like, okay, there's something going on here that's keeping me my attention.
You said it.
But the big thing about them lately, speaking to technical guys around that we know, they took that step that we're talking about. So now you have Nigerian studios with the right equipment and technical guys. And funny enough, 2 Kenyans or 3 Kenyans, people that we know, were actually called to do those setups and set those guys up
In
terms
Nigeria.
of that. Yeah, in terms of building their studios up and getting it to that level that we're talking about. So obviously they have an advantage of population and ability to be like, hey, we can just do it for our market and we'll be good. But we're looking at doing the same in terms of keeping on the stories going,
Right.
and the quality of the production, and then going across the continent, getting African stories, stories tied to Africa both ways.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think it's great because again, African stories being told from an African perspective. I watch things like, for instance, what's that movie? Reddington. What's that series? Reddington. Anyway, he's a guy. He's an international bad guy. He traveled in a private jet, but also his right hand man, his name's Dembe, who's like a nondescript African, with that African accent. You know what I mean?
Right.
That I was like, nah, nobody talks like that, bro. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's comical, but at the same time, it's access. Were they able to find an authentic African actor to play the part, or they just take an African American guy who's like, then say it like, hello, my child. Then it's then it's that authenticity is not there. But now what you guys are doing, I think it's fabulous. And now you're going to be underground, getting local actors to actually tell those stories, and that's as authentic as it gets. It's like taking a guy from Nairobi, put him in a movie set in Harlem, 1985. It's just not gonna be. It's not gonna have that same swag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think it's great what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Setting up these opportunities for a lot of actors, and not just actors, but the whole film industry to profit from to benefit rather from from what you guys are doing here on the ground. So once again, ODP, Sagwa, and Amyn in the house. And I guess you're not jet lagged anymore, are you?
No,
You've been here a week,
no,
so you're
no,
good.
I'm good.
All right. So have you sampled? I mean, you've been here before. So have you sampled the local nyama choma yet, or was it?
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. We had some last night.
Hey.
Some goat. Had a tusker and some goat.
Nice.
And
And
it
what
was
about
delicious.
ugali?
Not
so much.
Not so much. I haven't had it this time. I had it my last trip.
Okay.
I'm not opposed to it, but I
Not opposed to it.
I don't know. It's not. Why, you guys like it? Do
Sounds
you like
my
it?
daughter.
Do you like it?
No, for me now, I'm
You like it?
I'm learning to like it.
Oh, see, it's
Yeah.
acquired. It's
an acquired taste.
You gotta grow up with that.
Exactly, but I didn't grow up with it either.
I didn't either, so we're exempt.
I prefer chapati.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah,
too.
it's more flavorful. But I'm learning to it's an acquired taste.
You're lucky you had that experience because I know someone again from the US
Right.
came on his own, went to a restaurant. I said, "Give me ugali," and he didn't know, so they brought. They're like, "Ugali and what?" Say just ugali.
Just ugali.
He looked at the menu, he's like, "Let me take this
Let
one."
me try that.
So he brought the thing, and everyone's looking at this guy like, "Okay." So
Well,
he choose it.
Yeah.
He said, "Okay, ketchup, maybe."
Yeah.
Some salt. And
You know.
now the waitress was like, "You gotta tell this guy.
Yeah.
You have to.
You gotta have it, you gotta-
It's other stuff."
Sag was hosting me while I'm here,
Right.
and I was like, oh my god, what if they want to make me dinner? What if it's ugali? What am I gonna do?
You can't be
What am I
impolite.
gonna do?
Yeah.
I don't want to offend anybody. But he hasn't. So
Oh, good.
it's been all good
Gracious
chicken and
host.
rice and delicious food.
Yeah.
It's been that
So-
way because I'm not cooking.
His
we
wife-
come
his wife-
home and find the
His
food
wife,
ready.
his wife
In
made some
fact, today he's
delicious
eating
food.
ugali.
Oh, there you
Hey,
go.
hey,
We're on
We
ugali.
don't need to get carried away with that.
Yeah, to get hostile and everything.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
no,
Sagwa, I
it's-
think I'm checking into a hotel. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for hosting me,
But
but
the
bye.
food,
Yeah.
I love like the hole in the wall. I don't need to go to a fancy place that looks like you're in LA or something.
Yeah,
I like
nah.
the good hole in the wall place where it's like.
Same here. Cool.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
gentlemen. Again, hey,
Social.
yeah, plug away.
Oh.
Yeah, plug away. Where can they reach you?
You
I mean?
can look at AmynKaderali.com. That's AmynKaderali.
Okay, we'll put it in the
You put it
description.
on the script.
Yeah.
You have that ability.
Yeah, we'll type it in.
And I'm on IMDb, of course.
Excellent.
So you can look for me in either one of those places.
Excellent. So the links will be in the description. What about social media?
I have Instagram handle, I guess. I never
Okay.
go on it.
All right.
It's just at Kaderali.
All right, cool.
I never look at it.
Yeah,
I'm on
we'll-
Facebook. I don't really look at that either
Yeah,
anymore.
we'll put it on because I'm gonna start following you. I'm gonna hound you and say, "Yo,
Yeah, I will
post
not.
something."
I will not see that message.
We'll send you an email.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Send you a-
I'm on. Ever
check.
since I had kids, I'm on anti-social media.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So you and Mark Zuckerberg are not friends.
No, not.
You're not making him money,
Not really.
giving him free
Sad.
content.
I don't think he needs it.
No, he doesn't. That's true. He doesn't
No,
need
I
it.
think he's
All
all
right.
right.
So what about you, Sagwa? Where can the peeps reach you?
Instagram and Twitter at Serengeti Studio, one word. And then YouTube. Also have some channel. You can see some clips there.
All right.
And then I also have a different Instagram, which is more a passion approach, which is Africana Cinema, Africana_cinema.
Cinema.
And there it's like a curation of great African films shot in 35 or, lately digital, but like good African films that are co-productions, which are
Awesome.
an example of what we want to get into.
Right.
From the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s through
So present.
that's, yeah,
Present
that's
day.
the
All right.
Africana cinema.
That's
I
excellent.
didn't even know about that. I had to come on the podcast. to find out
You
about
see
it.
it? There you go. All
But
right.
you're
No.
not on the socials.
Time representing the 254. I am the OG. This is ODP Open Door Podcast. We got Amyn from San Francisco. I'm going to call him Amyn, Amy.
Don't start that.
Yeah, I'm just messing with you. And we got Sagwa in the house. In the meantime, so stay tuned. Next episode coming right around the corner. Boom.
Thank you.
Thanks.